Ever get into one of those arguments where, it seems like no amount of logic or evidence is going to change the other person's mind?
Oh, absolutely. It's like talking to a brick wall sometimes.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole story about the tiger, the donkey, and their disagreement about the color of grass so fascinating.
It sounds like something straight out of a children's book, right?
Hmm.
But trust me, there's some surprisingly deep stuff in there about how we deal with disagreements in our own lives.
Ready to take a deep dive?
Let's do it.
So, picture this: a tiger and a donkey are having this heated argument.
About whether the grass is blue or green.
Yeah. Can you believe it? The tiger, being a creature of, well, you know,
Yep.
common sense,
And probably decent eyesight.
right, is trying to explain to this donkey, who's completely convinced that the grass is blue, that it's actually green. The tiger's giving all sorts of reasons, pointing out how the grass looks and the sunlight and all, but the donkey just won't budge.
Stubborn as a will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So naturally, they decide to take their little dispute to the wisest creature in the land.
The lion, of
Who
course.
else? So the lion listens to both sides of the story: the tiger's passionate arguments, the donkey's unwavering belief in blue grass, and then, get this,
The lion sides with the donkey.
yep, declares the grass to be blue.
Talk about a plot twist.
Right. But I think there's more to it than meets the eye. What do you think?
I think you're spot on. See, I don't think the lion was actually fooled by the donkey's insistence. It's like the lion was trying to teach them both, and maybe even us listening, a bigger lesson here.
About picking your battles?
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to realize that arguing with someone who's completely closed off to different viewpoints, well, it's just a waste of your energy. It's like trying to convince a cat to fetch pointless.
I feel that in my soul.
Yeah.
You reminded me about this. One time I tried to have a rational discussion with someone online about, well, never mind the specifics, but let's just say it was one of those topics where people have really strong opinions.
Hmm.
And no matter what I said, no matter how much evidence I presented, it was like they weren't even listening. Just kept repeating the same talking points and dismissing everything I said. It was so frustrating. I was like, am I talking to a bot here? Hello?
That's a classic example of what we often call an echo chamber, which kind of reminds me of the donkey in the story, right? They're so stuck in their own little world, surrounded by information that only reinforces what they already believe, that they become practically immune to anything that challenges their views.
And the internet's made that whole echo chamber thing a whole lot worse, don't you think?
Definitely. Social media algorithms, personalized news feeds, it's all designed to show us more of what we already agree with. So we end up in these echo chambers and it becomes harder and harder to even imagine that other perspectives might be valid.
Okay, so going back to the story, the lion, wise as they are, doles out a rather interesting punishment. Or maybe it's a gift in disguise. What do you think about the tiger's sentence of 5 years of silence? Seems a little extreme, right?
It does, doesn't it? The more I think about it, the more I realize that the lion might have been onto something with that whole silence thing. Think about it. When was the last time you wish you had said less in an argument?
Oh, all the time. I can be a bit impulsive sometimes, which I'm working on.
We've all been there. But here's the thing, sometimes saying nothing, that's the most powerful thing you can do.
You're talking about strategic silence.
Exactly. Sometimes disengaging from an argument, especially if it's clear that it's going nowhere, that's the best way to protect your own peace of mind. And who knows, that break from the constant back and forth, it might even give everyone a chance to cool down and maybe even reflect on things a bit.
That makes a lot of sense. So the story isn't just about the futility of arguing with someone who's dead set in their ways, it's also about the power of silence.
Right. It's about choosing when to engage and when to walk away. Like, it's not about avoiding conflict altogether. Sometimes disagreements are necessary, but it's about recognizing when a debate has become unproductive, when it's more about scoring points than actually listening and understanding. And sometimes the wisest thing you can do in those situations is just
Zip it.
exactly choose silence, protect your peace, and live to debate another day.
I love that. It's a good reminder for all of us to pick our battles wisely and know when to gracefully bow out.
Hmm.
Well, this has been quite the journey, hasn't it? We went from a donkey arguing about the color of grass to the power of strategic silence. This is why I love these deep dives. Always so much more than meets the eye.
I couldn't agree more. It's amazing how these seemingly simple stories can hold such profound wisdom.
Absolutely. Until next time.
See you then.